still away. Still can't bend it, but I can walk on it. And that's the thing that matters, I think.
How far are we traveling?
It's about an average of 10, 12 miles a day, something like that.
Wow.
Snow, ice, all kinds of terrain.
Have your ice axe?
I have cleats to put on my boots. Yeah.
Especially yeah, yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We're going to begin with Maya Hayom. How beautiful is this Shabbat day? It's the second song on page 128 in your blue Mishkan Tefillah Siddur. 130. Sing Adonai a new song, sing Adonai all the earth. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth exalt, let the sea and all within it thunder, the fields and everything in them exalt, until all the trees of the forest shout for joy. At the coming of Adonai, who is coming to rule the earth, God will rule the world justly and its peoples in faithfulness. Yeah. 133. Sa ירגזו עמים, יושב קרומים, ננו את הארץ, כי בציון גדול. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, תשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש Adonai Eloheinu. Exalt Adonai our God and bow towards God's holy hill, for Adonai our God is holy. Mizmor David Adonai Eli. Adonai Ose Amo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo, Vashalom. Lechadodi, 138. Shabbat day. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov le'odot la'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, תודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשם העליון, ולזמר לשם העליון. צדיק אתה אמר יפרח, כארז בבנות יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ילנו בסלע, בשנים ברעננים יהיו להגיד, כי ישר אדוני צורי צורי, ולא עוולה תבוא. My Lord, Yahweh, page 263. Yetidal Yetida Shemera, Yamadi Brasher Devi Amlit Malpute, Bechayech Oluv Yomechon, Uchayena Obed Yisrael, Bagala, Ubisman Karim, V'yemeru Amen, Yeshme Rabba Memora, Leolam lo meholmaya, Yitbarach Yishtabach, V'kar V'korban V'tnasev V'tadar V'talev V'talal, Shemei D'kudsha B'richu, Le'elam Mikol Birchata V'shirata, Tush V'chata V'nechemata, Na'amiran V'yama, V'yemeru Amen. We rise as able, page 264. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Boreyom balayla, golelo mipnei choshen, golelo mipnei choshen, v'choshen mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Baruch atah Adonai, Amahariv Aravim. Avat olam ben Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Odhanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shoveinu u'b'kumenu, Nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'oret yameinu, u'lahem negem, yomam v'layla. Ve'avakal tatzir mimenu l'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohel amo Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Yai lalai, 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 yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lalai, 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 lalai. Yai lalai, 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 yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lalai, lalai, v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom alavavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'divarta bam v'shivtecha v'veitecha v'blechtecha b'derech v'shokvecha v'kumecha v'chartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha v'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha v'bisharecha L'ma'an tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim v'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Moshe u'Miriam b'nei Yisrael echanu shira b'simcha rabbah v'amru kulam. Song of Liberation, page 270. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai mi chamocha Nadar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot Osei pelen Nora tehilot Osei pelen Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom Malchutecha Ra'u Banecha Bokei Hayam Bifnei Moshe u'Miriam Zeili Anu ve'amru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam va'ed Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom, these songs of freedom, redemption song. Marki Adonai Yaakov, Go'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Ashkivenu, a prayer for shelter, for rest, for peace, page 271.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Shalom. Amidenu, Amidenu, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shomecha.
272. Rise as able for Milah, page 273. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot B'Imahot, U'Meini Goel L'Idei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshil Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, V'Ozrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Itim Atarav L'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayim Meitim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofet Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melach Memid, Umechaye, Mechaye Hametim. 276. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Continue on our own, the Hebrew or the English or your own heart's private prayers through page 282. After that, you may be seated. Open. Thanks for our joys in our lives, our celebrations, or small but meaningful things that we celebrate. So I invite anyone who has anything they are especially grateful for or celebrating on this Shabbat that we would like to share.
But I got a new job, and instead of being like kind of anti-Semitic like my last one, weeks ago about me being Jewish, and my boss is one who speaks English.
Wow. Congratulations. Just say one word ahead of the boss and you're good.
Well, we had our grandsons over today and we spent 2 hours in the pool with them. It was just a lot of fun. Beautiful.
All that we celebrate in our lives, we say Wadimanat Dulat, we give thanks to the eternal one, creator, sustainer, and source of life. May we go from strength to strength, and may we offer our abundant gratitude for your many blessings along our path. Prayers for healing by anyone who has people who you are holding close. Pray for healing for body, for soul, for spirit.
And Shepard, Mary Hannah, Mary Kabbalat, Dave, and Michelle.
For these and for all who are in need, Mishaberach, a prayer for healing, page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
So in this Shabbat's double Torah portion, Chukat Balak, we find ourselves still dealing with the aftermath of the portion of 2 weeks ago, in which Moses sends forth scouts to check out the land, and the people follow in the ways of the majority, 10 of those 12 scouts, who are fearful and say, we can't go up into the land. And it is at that point that God determines that 40 years will pass, that we will wander in the wilderness for 40 years. And the entire generation who were adults upon going out from Egypt will die in the desert, with their children who are born and raised in freedom to enter into the promised land. Last week, in the wake of that news, we have, not surprisingly, a rebellion against Moses, a discontented people who have been told they're doomed to die in the desert, are not very happy, and it leads to a great deal of discontent. In this week's portion, we see the toll that all of this takes on Moses himself. The people are complaining, as they are wont to do, and Moses and Aaron turn to God, who tells them, okay, the people want water. Take up your rod, speak to a rock, and order it to provide water. And Moses and Aaron assemble the people, and Aaron speaks, and then Moses says, listen, you rebels, shall we get water for you out of this rock? He strikes the rock twice with his staff, and at that point, water indeed gushes forth. The people are happy, they have water to drink, but God is not so happy with Moses and Aaron. And he says, because you didn't trust me, therefore you shall not lead this congregation into the land that I have given them. So it is at this point that it is determined that Moses will not live to make it into the promised land. The rabbis wrestle a lot with this because it seems a disproportionate punishment, right? Moses, who has been dealing with the people's constant fetching, their anger, their frustration, their rebellion, strikes a rock, right? He doesn't hit anybody. He strikes a rock, and for this, he's doomed to die in the desert. So why such a harsh punishment for what seems like the most relatively inconsequential act? Rashi points to an interesting scenario. He notes that, about a year and a half earlier, just when we were getting out of Egypt, we crossed the Red Sea. It doesn't take long until the complaining starts, right? We cross the Red Sea, we sing Mi Chamocha, everything's going great, and again, 3 days later, we're complaining about the water. But in Exodus chapter 17, when we are complaining about the water, God explicitly tells Moses to take his rod and strike the rock, and the rock will yield water. And indeed, that is exactly what happens. So, one might ask, Rashi hints, why wouldn't Moses assume that the scenario now is the same as it was a year and a half ago? You strike the rock, the water comes out. The subtlety of speak to the rock perhaps is lost on Moses because he remembers the experience of what God had asked for him the previous time. And this, according to Aviva Zornberg, contemporary commentator, is precisely why, not as a punishment, but as a kind of natural consequence, that Moses is not the one to lead the people into the land. She says, what was once an effective teaching tool, the striking of the rock with the staff, is now to be replaced by the use of language. What God wants to educate the people in one experience is not the same as what they will need to learn and to grow a free generation in their own land in a new place and time. In other words, she suggests that Moses and Aaron are not the right leaders to bring the people into the land because they can't understand that the old ways won't work for a new generation. They don't understand the changing needs, the changing circumstances over changing times. And in failing to change their own ways, their own patterns, they fail to sanctify God. This is a hard lesson for many of us because we do, all of us, as we grow older, tend to rely on what has worked for us in the past, to dance with the one that brought you. But new leadership does indeed demand new skills, new attitudes, new vision. And so, seen through this lens, Moses' striking of the rock is less a sin and more a sign. A sign that he has played his role, he will continue to play his role for another 38 years, but it will be a new generation, a new vision that is required to lead the people into this land. So may we look into ourselves and find new visions and also find times and opportunities to turn to new leaders as we approach new horizons. King Yiratzon, may this be God's will. Concluding portion of our service, we rise as able for Aleinu, in the middle of page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu la liotzer b'reishit, shelo asani kagayeh haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, v'go radleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachamim u'modim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim V'Yosed Haaretz U'Moshe B'Karo B'Shamayim Mima'al U'Shchinatu Zo B'Govei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Epesulato Hakatu betorato, biadat hayom, bashevota elevadcha. Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, bi'al ha'aretz, mitachat einod. V'nemar Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, Vayom Anu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo Think of our loved ones, those whose death is taken from us, those who have died at this season in years past, and those who have drawn into our hearts together with our own. Invite anyone who has names and who you are holding close Kaddish that you would like to speak aloud. We remember on this Shabbat Sylvia Brisbane, member of our community who has died this week. Others.
Michael Blockman and Sylvia.
Zifronam L'Bracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Calling them, I invite the mourners and all whose custom it is to rise for Kaddish, page 598. Yitgedal v'yitgedash Shavei Rabbah. V'yalmad yivrach yiratei v'yamliv malchutei. V'chayehon v'yomehon v'chayeh v'chol beit Yisrael. Ad Allah Bizman Kareem V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shnei Rabam Barak Le'olam L'Olmei Olmai. Yitbarak Yishtabach Yitpa'ar Yitramam Yitnaseh. Yitadar Yitaleh Yitalal Shemei B'Kudsha B'Richu. Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Dush V'Chata V'Nechemata. Ta'amiran V'Alma V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shalom Rabam and Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yolcho Yisrael v'yamru amen. Osei shalom b'romav v'yasei shalom aleinu v'yolcho Yisrael v'yamru amen. And the one who makes peace on high, let peace descend on us, on all Israel, and all the world. May comfort you with all who mourn, and let us all say, Amen. As usual, tomorrow morning, our Shabbat morning service will begin at 10. Over the next 6-ish weeks, we'll have lay leaders. I think that we have all of our Friday nights covered. We have a few Saturday mornings that we are not covered, so if you're gonna come on Saturday morning, check your newsletter, your email blast first. Let you know when we have a service, and when, if we don't, then we'll direct you to a link where you can join somebody else virtually, and I'll be back after the 15th of August. Thank you to our musicians, Steve and Petra, and Sandy and Eddie for setting us up.
She wanted to make a little.
Oh, announcement, yes, go ahead.
We're doing it next week.
Okay, so next Friday night?
It will be in the social.
We're gonna put it in the social hall.
Okay, so next Friday night, Freddie and Chav are gonna lead, and Pam Lowe, and, but the service will be across the way in the social hall, where the air conditioning works better.
And we're going to celebrate July birthdays.
Okay, we're gonna celebrate July, so come next week, and if you have a July birthday, all the more so, come next week. And you know, if you're American, the country has a birthday, so we can all kind of celebrate, so there you go. We're gonna conclude with Lichi Lach, and it's on page 645, in your Siddur, I think, all right? Yeah, 645. No, I don't. I might, but I'm not gonna chance it. Yeah.
I think we're there.
I'll move that away. Are you going to withdraw that?
Jonah's already there.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he's doing blessing and
You'll come back when this.
I always try to come back to some new music. That is one of the best things about a campus. Hanging out with song leaders and trying to come back to some new songs. Or some old songs too, absolutely. There you go. Let's go on, Steve. Shabbat shalom. Questions are always quick to answer. Yeah, they're a union. They're being a union. You know? I mean, they're being a union, protecting their union. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. But you know, I guess I understand. I didn't realize that was the case. That's right. I mean, if you have to choose A or B, A is a much bigger flexibility.
I thought you wanted to.
Right.
I'd rather do this one.
A bigger pool of more likely.
Well, yes, you do. When you hear it get started, you'll
College putting out.
I think you'll recognize
It's not, you know, some of them are going to have more than yeah. So you can be a union. What can I tell you?
I apologize for.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's land.
Nice.
How about to the New York guy? We do that, I think that'd be fun. She said,
Shabbat shalom.
yeah.
Back ready to go?
Yeah.
Back in the holidays, we'll be a month away. Ready for it, yeah.
I'm running my calendar.
Okay, you'll have the next, not the week of your birthday.
I'm not going, but
Yeah. He'll go on that Thursday. I'll be taking it. At the crack of dawn.
it would be more fun to do your land and my land.
Yeah, I thought it'd be more fun.
But they all know.
Well, I think they don't know that better, and we're gonna give them songs, so they'll have something fun.
I will learn. Yeah, I can see it. I don't need it tomorrow.